Hi everyone, welcome to the PNTV podcast. I'm Holly. I'm here with Stephen and Akash, and we today have a very special guest with us. She's the host of BTN, and we're very happy to welcome Amelia Moseley.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Thanks for coming in to see us.
Oh, anytime.
We had the pleasure of seeing you at the Adelaide Film Festival, where our movie was lucky enough to win the primary school category. How did you enjoy hosting the night, and did you enjoy our movie?
Oh, it was terrible. No, I'm kidding. It was such a good movie. I loved your movie, and it was so fantastic being part of that event. I had a lot of fun. I'd never actually done it before, and I just really enjoyed seeing all the movies that everybody made, and across so many different age groups, all the way from primary to high school. And I just thought some of the movies were incredible, including yours. It was so good. How long did you work for? A long time, I imagine, on that. It would have taken a lot of work.
Yeah, we started in term 2. So, just one and a bit, around 2 terms of work.
It's a lot. And I know this because at BTN, when we're making, say, like a 3.5 minute story each week as a reporter, it's like so much energy and so much of the, so much teamwork goes into that process for just 3.5 minutes. So it's like your movie was like 10 minutes or something?
I think it was around, all the movies were about 7 minutes.
7 minutes?
Yeah.
So it's like, I can imagine, how much work it is. It's intense. But it was a great event. Had a lot of fun, and hopefully I'll be back again next year, and maybe you will too, but in high school.
So other than our movie, is there like a specific one you liked?
Oh yes, other than yours, obviously, my absolute favourite. I really liked, I think it was called Geiger. It was the one where it was in the future. Do you remember this one? It was like set in the future. Yeah, and they just, the way that they had filmed that was amazing, and it was like very eerie, and it was all about nuclear energy, and I just thought that was really cool the way that it was shot. And then there was this really creepy moment where you have this like figure in the darkness when they're down in this like basement, and I was just like, that's very clever filmmaking too. So I thought that was pretty fun. I honestly couldn't do it. Like it's a lot of work making films.
In your childhood, was there any movies that you made or had ideas for?
Oh yeah, definitely. I spent a lot of my childhood making movies, if you can call them movies. I use the term very loosely. To be honest, funnily enough, I made movies, right? And in high school, I made a movie which was absolutely like terrible. It was so bad. And I remember like when I was hosting the film festival event, I was sitting there thinking about my own high school movie and just how embarrassingly terrible it was, and how I'm so glad I had never entered it into anything and never got the chance for other people to actually see it outside of my class. But it was for high school drama, and it was a horror movie. And I set it with my friend, like we wrote and directed it, and then got our friends to act in it. We set it in the middle of a forest, and it was like about a group of friends that get lost and they can't find find anything, and in this abandoned area, and we couldn't find anywhere to film it that was convenient. So we decided to just shoot it like near my dad's house, which happened to be on Main North Road. So all you could hear in the background in this so-called forest was just traffic noise, and it was so terrible. And I'm so I cringe even thinking about it. But that was the end of my movie making career, unfortunately. But I did spend a lot of time as well when I was in primary school, recording myself and my friends doing various things, including interviewing each other. So we would pretend to be TV hosts, and then one of us would be a famous person, and so we'd just take turns at it. And I remember being just being like a TV presenter, and so that's kind of funny. That's ended up being a bit of practice, I think, maybe. So who knows, maybe in the future you'll all be in media as well.
Wait, so let me get this straight. The movie was set in a forest, but every 5 minutes you can just hear cars beeping.
Yes. Beep. Yes, it was so bad. Exactly. And they're talking about being lost and what are they going to do, and it's meant to be scary, and then it's like beep, 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 and Main Road, just full traffic noises throughout the whole thing. Yeah, no, not great. Not a great idea.
I remember, I think I was in year 4, and there was this, it was we had a choice to do something in this certain period during class, and me and my friends let's make a movie. And we wrote this whole script, and I don't know what happened. We filmed the whole movie and all the script, but when we put it together, we thought it was so hilarious because we were just filming each other like laughing. So then we looked at it during class and it was just this video of us cracking ourselves, like crying, laughing on the floor.
So funny in the moment for you, and then you watch it back and you're like, oh,
well, what were we?
no.
Well, that wasn't it. That was not the moment.
Has anyone tried singing as well? Has anyone been created a band? Because I also did that. We had a band. Yeah.
I wrote like one song. That was the end of it.
And it's a hit, right?
Nah,
you're living off those profits now, I imagine. Surely, right?
Yeah.
World famous?
No, I never actually sang it, but like I did write a song.
Yeah. So intense. I also was in a band. Me and my friend, it lasted a couple recesses and never made it. Like, the songs are sitting there somewhere just waiting for fame. But
yeah. As a young only child, I used to film myself in my room dancing to Stop by Spice Girls, pretending that I was a Spice Girl.
Yeah.
And, I just put a video of me next to a video of them acting like I was in the video. So that was it's a pretty good production.
You're going to be really embarrassed by that, Holly, in like a few years.
My parents used to say that's going to be going on at your 21st. So
yes.
I'm ready.
Ooh, ice cold parents. But great content.
Can we have some background information, like where you grew up and where'd you go to school?
Of course you can. So I grew up here in Adelaide, actually. So not even very far from here. I went to Nord Primary School. Coincidentally, a school I have never actually been back to, I don't think, in my whole BTN career, funnily enough. We have been there a few times. I think other reporters have been, but I've never actually been back. So I'm just waiting for the invite from Nord Primary. But yeah, so I grew up in Adelaide girl. I was actually born, not in Australia, I was born in New Zealand. But my parents were migrants and they came from, so my dad is, dad's side of the family, and my dad is from Barbados in the Caribbean. So our most famous person from Barbados is my cousin Rihanna, the singer. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. She's not my cousin. I wish she was my cousin. I did inquire, but last time I was there, they said no. Unrelated. And then on the other side of my family, my mum's side, we come from the Channel Islands in Jersey Channel Islands. So they're little islands between France and England. And the most famous person from there, the most famous sort of thing from there, I guess, is like Jersey cows and Jersey milk. I don't know if you've had Jersey milk, Jersey cream. Yeah, you definitely get it here as well. And then also Superman, Henry Cavill, former Superman. Again, my cousin. No,
you've got some interesting branches.
Such famous family. No, I asked about him too. It's just unfortunately not. So they moved to New Zealand, had me, moved to Australia, so I've sort of lived in London for a little while, lived in Melbourne, and then I came back to BTN and to the ABC from Melbourne for the job because I knew it was such a good job and didn't want to miss out on the opportunity, and I've been there ever since.
Did you grow up watching BTN and did you think you would end up working with them or even hosting it?
From the minute they rolled out the TV, because that's what they used to do, because that's how old I am, I knew that was my future career. I was like, I'm going to be on it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I had no idea I was ever going to be on BTN. Like, how could you, as if you would ever think that. Like, I just was like, this is such a cool show. And I remember watching it in like year 6, same as you are. I was like, that's fun. And like, I remember doing like assignments and things afterwards. We had to write about what you watched. I vaguely remember my host at the time, like the BTN host at the time, so many years ago. And then, years later, I went on to study journalism and never expected that I would actually end up at BTN. But it's the best job and I'm so glad that I did. Yeah, lots of fun. So I always say to like students when I go to schools, I'm always like, well, you never know, like you're watching BTN, but you might actually end up being on it.
So how did you get from a child who watches it to a host? Like, what was the process? Like, how did you get the role?
Yeah, so many years in between. But look, I did, like I said, I studied journalism. So I went to uni, but even before that, actually, I should say in primary school, I was quite a shy kid. So I really wasn't super confident with public speaking and stuff like that. And I had a teacher who for some reason like just thought that I should actually try it and like pursue it a little bit, which is interesting. I don't know what exactly they saw in me. But yeah, shout out to Mr. Elliott if he's still teaching from Nord Primary.
Yeah, we actually watched a video where you're like, my favourite teacher, Mr. Elliott. Yeah.
It's so funny you say that. I came across that video again the other day as well. Yeah. So yeah, Mr. E, he was a great teacher, and it shows like when you have a good teacher as well, even as early as primary school, it can be quite life-changing. And so yeah, he really pushed me to try public speaking, and so like I spoke at my graduation at the end of primary school, and I would take parents around the school and like give them tours and stuff, and so I sort of got more confident. Lost it a little bit again by the time I got to high school, because you start at the bottom, and you know you're going to experience it soon too, and you know what you're going to be like. But it's all good. You get to the top again eventually after 5 more years or 6 more years. But like basically it was a thing where I sort of had to gain confidence again. And then I just started doing drama. I really loved English, and it all sort of gave me a lot of confidence and helped me realise I had quite a skill with writing. And I thought, well, what fits that? Journalism. I'll give that a go. So I went to, UniSA, again, right here in Adelaide, studied journalism, came out of it, ended up at the ABC doing work experience, actually by accident. And I ended up being at the ABC, and I was like, hey, is BTN part of this work experience? And they were like, no, but we can, send you upstairs and you can go and meet some people. And so, yeah.
I know the ABC building. I live really close to there.
Yes. Actually, I live really close as well. I'm in Prospect as well. So I live like really close by too. It's funny. They were like, go upstairs and chat. And that's how I actually ended up getting my first in at BTN. And I worked there for a little bit, but not for very long. And then I decided I was going to move to London. I wanted to go overseas. And then, that's when I moved back to Melbourne, and then back to Adelaide eventually years later. And then I just haven't left because it was just so good.
So what was your first role in BTN?
Yeah, so my first role in BTN was a reporter, and so I'm still a reporter now, but on top of that I became host when Nathan Baisley, the last host, took over. It's like 5 years ago now, I think I've been doing it for, and so that's when I had the opportunity to step up, and I feel, obviously really grateful for that. And I had worked, I worked really hard as a reporter. It wasn't just like luck or anything. There was a bit of being in the right place at the right time, but also I really liked presenting and always, was really quite passionate about doing that. And so, I got to step into being the face of BTN and have been doing that and reporting ever since. But my first role was actually reporting specifically on what is now Newsbreak, our daily show. I don't know if you guys know Newsbreak. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But back then it was called 3 News, and it had just started. News on 3, I think it was even called. And it had just started. So and then I kind of spent time working across different shows, and now we have a few different ones that I work across. So lots of fun.
Yeah. If you didn't enter journalism, do you have another career path that you might have followed?
Well, filmmaking, obviously, from my story earlier, horror film directing, my true talents. No, I don't know. I think I've thought about this. So I think that I would probably... I actually really enjoy psychology, and I like talking to people. So that's one thing I would actually think about. But I also don't love sitting in an office, which is part of the reason I ended up at BTN, because I like being able to get out and do stuff. Not that we always are, but every week generally you're going to be out of the office doing something at some stage. You're not constantly at your desk, and getting to do fun things like this is really appealing. When I was a kid, I did want to be a ballet dancer because I did ballet. I wanted to be a vet. Not very original. I feel like these are very basic careers that everybody know. Thanks for making me feel better.
I wanted to be a ballerina and a vet. I went.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Everybody does.
And then, as a kid, you
honestly,
but most people just want to be doctors, lawyers. The top one is the
money making ones.
Yeah, honestly, I still don't really have something I want to be, and never did.
I mean, I want to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
But all the trouble you have to go through.
Yeah, it's a lot, but you've got heaps of time to decide.
Yeah.
And Akash, like, it's totally fine not to know as well, because I definitely didn't know even up until high school. Like, honestly, it took me until just after high school to actually make the decision to go into journalism. So sometimes it just takes some time. But yeah, I did have some, like, I'll just tell you this because I don't know if these are like careers, right? But I did have some pretty fun jobs before BTN. So I worked at a chocolate shop. And I used to actually go out. It was like Dara Lee chocolates. It used to be there. It's not there anymore. But like it was opposite like Hague's in the mall, at the end of the mall. And I used to go out and like sample chocolate to people, and you'd have to stand there and offer them chocolate. You'd be surprised at the amount of people that say no to free chocolate. It's like they just don't get it. They're kind of like, what are you trying to do? Like they're going to charge. I'm like, it's free. Take the chocolate. It was a tough gig.
Yeah, it was
a
a tough, like, just
tough life.
people saying no while you just want to eat it all.
Exactly.
Like,
Believe me, I ate a lot of chocolate.
You're like holding this like, please, like, eat this or I want to eat it.
Exactly. I'm going to eat more. I've eaten enough. Yeah.
Please.
So maybe chocolatier is my alternative career, chocolate maker.
Willy Wonka?
Willy Wonka is that's the career I would have had. Just Willy Wonka, being Willy Wonka.
Wait, so what, were you going to like make a chocolate brand?
Yep, sure. We'll go with that. I think I'd have more success in that than my film career, to be honest. So
Yeah, like what if you were going to make a chocolate brand?
Yeah.
What type of chocolate would you make, and what would be called?
do you know what? This is so not South Australian of me, but I can tell you what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't do fruit chocks because I hate fruit chocks. It wouldn't be an orange chocolate. I find them so repulsive.
Oh my God, like
I'm
the stuff with the
sorry.
filling in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly,
You with me?
I do not like this.
don't
Like
really
plain
like it.
chocolate,
Oh my
better.
gosh.
Like
Yeah.
who likes the fruit things? The whole point of chocolate is like sugar.
Chocolate.
You're my
Yeah.
people. You're my people. Holly's face is...
Holly
Well,
just
I'm
was
not your people. No.
Holly's just like, hell no. What are you guys
I
talking
can
about?
tell. Holly's like... mm-mm.
Raspberry fruit chocks are the best.
Oh, hang on. I haven't tried raspberry. We'll see
You
about
gotta try
raspberry.
The
We'll
berry
try
ones are the
raspberry.
best ones, without
Like
a doubt.
maybe
It's so on
raspberry
South
just like,
Australian.
maybe raspberry just like that kind of
In
that in
between.
between. Like,
Yeah,
just like,
in
It's not
between.
bad,
Yes.
but it's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my chocolate brand would have to be just named after me, I guess. Like,
just
like
Amelia chocolate.
Millie Brie or something.
Yeah.
What were your hobbies and interests growing up, and what was your first ever job?
Oh yeah, so my very first job was actually working in a clothing store, and I was doing like work experience in high school. And apparently I get all of my jobs through doing work experience which is a good lesson. Seriously, if you want a job and you actually want to work somewhere, be enthusiastic when you're doing work experience, right?
Were you paid?
At first I wasn't, and then they employed me. Yeah.
Okay, now I know I'm wrong.
Yeah. So I got it through doing work experience. So they were like, oh, she's really enthusiastic. She wants to be here. So that was at a clothing store. I had, the chocolate shop. And then my actually ultimate favorite job that I liked probably even better than BTN was working for something that doesn't exist anymore, which was a video store.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
know that.
Okay,
Like
love that you know
Blockbuster.
that. Oh my gosh, it was Blockbuster.
Oh my God.
Really?
Yes.
R.I.P. No more Blockbuster, but it was
No, there is one in
Blockbuster.
like what's it
Yeah.
called? There's like one left in America,
Stop.
right?
Oh, yeah, that's a thing,
there's like
isn't it?
yeah, there's like one left in America. That's the thing.
I think there was a documentary or something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I should go back and just quit BTN and just go to America and work at that one Blockbuster because it was the best job ever. I have no idea who would be going into Blockbuster now, but it was so much fun. And that's where like my love of like movies definitely came from. Like my probably like obsession really with movies and TV shows. Like I watch a lot of stuff. That's probably where it all came from.
Were
so.
there any funny moments?
I mean, many. Like, I worked there for so many years. But I can't think of an actual story to amuse you now. Oh, there were some famous people that would come in, but they were like famous at the time, so it's not even good. I'm sorry, I'm failing at this
Wait,
story.
no.
Oh, okay, there is one story. Okay, here's one story. This is not don't take after me in this story,
It's
right?
just a story. It's just
It
a
was
story.
my to anyone listening, don't do what I've done here. So when my very first night working at Blockbuster, I got so excited at the idea of getting, it was like a 20% discount or something like that on anything in the store. And it was like all like chocolate and chocolate obsession there again, and chips and stuff. And so I bought like a big packet of like barbecue chips, a big packet of, I think it was Maltesers. And I went home and I like sat on the phone, talked to my friend, and I ate like the entire thing of both because I was just like, I was like a 15-year-old, my first job. I was just so excited and so happy to have that like adult sort of freedom of like, I can buy a thing with my own money and I can then eat it all. Anyway, and then my mum made me salmon for dinner and I ate it and I vomited everything I ate. All of the salmon, all of the Maltesers and all of the barbecue chips, and I didn't touch barbecue chips or Maltesers for like a decade and I still don't eat salmon to this day. So there you go.
So pretty much chocolate and chips made you a fish hater.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Well, so that sums it up. Well done.
Okay, so could you do a sign off and say, hi, I'm Amelia Moseley and you're listening to PNC Podcast to wrap it up?
Of course I can. Of course I can. Hi, I'm Amelia Moseley and you're listening to the PNC Podcast.
Woo! Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's
so
okay.
much fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, round 2.
I tried to do it in the voice because I've had kids come up to me before and say, do the voice. Do the voice. I'm like, what voice? And they're like, the BTN voice. I'm like, is that just my normal voice? Yeah.